Today I want to show you guys how we incubate eggs at Gx3 Reptiles. This here is the sim container, made by the guys over at Spermata Concepts. This makes it super easy because you don't have to worry about your eggs getting wet, which is going to cause them to die, and it also makes it so that it holds the humidity in here perfectly. The lid is nice and tight, so your air is not getting exchanged too rapidly. It also has the water that you can put down here on the bottom. I put some polyfill in there. That's just to make sure that it doesn't splash as I'm moving the eggs around. But this is a really idiot-proof way to incubate eggs. And if you're new to incubating eggs, I would highly recommend getting a sim container to take any variables out of the equation. Another way that we incubate eggs here is by using the polyfill like we put at the bottom of the sim containers to separate the water from the bottom. So what I have here is I have some cocoa blocks at the bottom with water, the polyfill, a nice thick layer over the top. Because it's a synthetic fiber, the water won't wick. So I can set the eggs on top without the eggs getting exposed to water. This is a really easy way to incubate eggs. But if you don't do it right, your eggs will get wet and they will not make it. So I recommend this if you have some experience incubating eggs. The only reason I like this over the sim container is simply because I don't have enough room in my incubator at certain times of the year, so I can use these low profile shoe boxes in my incubator. When I pull eggs, I generally like the female to get all the eggs out and the eggs to kind of set up. What I mean by that is they'll adhere to each other. So when you look at the eggs here, you can see that there's patches of this white, and that was where I separated the eggs. The only reason I do that is so that they fit conveniently in the box. There's really no need to separate the eggs, so some of these are even still connected. And I actually prefer it that way because it makes sure that they don't roll when I'm moving them around during the incubation process. So here I've got some lizard eggs incubating, which I usually incubate my tropical lizard eggs between 84 and 85 degrees. That goes for my monitor lizards, sailfin dragons, and pretty much any other tropical species of agama. Here's some snake eggs that we have incubating. These I like to keep between 87 and 89 degrees. So for our small lizards and geckos, I really like to use the sim container. These make it super easy, keeps them nice and humid without getting any moisture on the eggs. I put them into the container and I set them up top and I just let them incubate at room temperature, which is for us 75 to 80 degrees. You'll notice with the sim container, you have these little holders. What those do is you can set them to the width of the egg to make sure that the egg does not roll. With reptile eggs, it's very important that they don't roll during the incubation process because the embryo will actually adhere to the top. So if it rolls, it can actually drown in the yolk. So once they're laid and they set up, don't roll them around. Keep them where they're facing up.